Hi, my name is Starr, and I'm an artist and a singer. And a lot of times I have to be on stage and I wear tons of makeup because on stage, obviously, we all wear makeup. And so growing up, I've always had issues with acne, and I feel like the makeup has really clogged my pores a lot. You know, you try to do as much as you can, like not wearing makeup on days that you don't have shows, but on the days that you do have shows, you know, you're wearing the best products, and sometimes the best products clogs your pores. So I'm really excited to meet Nerida Joy today to examine my skin so she can let me know what's really going on underneath it all. I have issues with dark spots and some acne still. So I'm excited to see what she has to say.
Hello everybody, my name is Nerida Joy and I am here to do another treatment video today for you. My special guest I have today is recording artist Starr. She is, she's on stage a lot, she wears a lot of makeup. She has told me that some of her concerns are brown spots that could be a form of scarring, so I'm going to take her makeup off shortly and have a look and see what's going on. And oiliness, you mentioned. What was it? Was there anything else that we're missing, Crystal?
I've suffered from acne since a child, and it really, yeah, as you can see on my shoulders too. But as I've gotten older, it's not as severe, but it's left definitely brown spots on my skin a lot. So that's the issues that I definitely are concerned with.
Okay,
yeah.
So whenever I do a skin diagnosis, whenever I have a client come in, I always like to know what it is that, it's so important for us as estheticians to know what it is that our clients are really concerned about, because we want to make sure that we cover everything, that they're walking out knowing and understanding what problems they have and what they need to do to make them better. So that's really important. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cleanse her skin off. It's going to take me, I can see her makeup's a little thick. She's got some good coverage on here, so it's going to take me a couple of cleanses. We're going to do that, and let's get started. I'm so lucky I get to do what I love every day. Now this one here, what I'm using is just a very light cleansing milk. When I do my cleanses, I do not like to use anything drying and stripping on the skin, because what happens is it sets that dry slate, and then when I go to use my treatment products and that afterwards, it doesn't get in as well as I want. So it's really important to keep the skin soft and supple and not dry that outer layer. So as I said, we're just going to give a good cleanse off here. It's important to make sure that you cover the neck and the décolleté always, because as we get older, these are areas that are not as easy to heal as the face. Working with the face, we can do all kinds of different peels and a lot of great treatments, and the skin recovers very quickly, but the neck is a very sensitive area. It's not an area that you can use certain peels on, and the décolleté the same. It's an area that really has to be respected. And as I said, you just can't, we don't have the flexibility with a lot of the different treatment products that we have for the face. So it's important to make sure that your client knows how to take care of the neck and the décolleté when they're at home on a daily basis. So I'm just going to use some sponges here now. I like disposable sponges. That's what I use on my clients. I know they have all kinds of sponges that you can wash and clean, but I like the disposable cellulose sponges, and that's what I like to use on my clients. So this is cleanse number 1. We are going to do one more cleanse shortly. So many of our clients today, you know, have the lash extensions or false lashes, and it's always, you know, sometimes I like to use a warm towel to remove the cleanser, But whenever there's eyelash extensions, it's just easier to use the sponges, because that way you can really get underneath and not affect the lashes like a hot towel will do. My cotton pad is a little bit damp so that the dry cotton doesn't stick to her eyelashes, which would be most annoying for her for the rest of the night. Feeling these little tiny fibers attached. Now, most of you know that have been watching my previous videos that I'm very much a hands-on type of esthetician. I've been in skincare for 38 years, and this is what I've done for 38 years, and I love it. The more work I do as an esthetician, the more I love it. And we're constantly learning and growing, and with all the new treatments that are out now, there are so many different fabulous treatment machines. But I personally am all about, I like to have a good steamer and my Maggie light, and I'm all about just really a lot of hands-on. I find that massaging the skin is so important because it stimulates muscle tone, so it really helps to keep the skin strong, and it also really helps to move the lymphatic system. And nowadays, you know, a lot of people, even very young, are doing Botox, including myself, in my forehead. So what that does is it creates a lot of stillness, and stillness is a problem for the lymphatic systems. You really want to keep movement, like it's important for our body to keep our body moving, and it moves the lymphatic system, which, you know, allows for nutrients to come to the blood and help the white blood cells, and it also allows to get rid of a lot of toxins. So it's really important, the movement. So I do a lot of massage, and that's, even as you can see, I'm still on cleanser number 2, but I am massaging it into her skin. Now we can see Crystal's skin a lot clearer here now. Having an olive skin, one of the most wonderful treatment products or ingredients that you can use is retinols, and retinols come from your vitamin A grouping. So retinoic acid is one of the molecules of the vitamin A grouping, and it works really amazing on an olive to a darker skin. I tend to work more with retinols than I do the alpha hydroxy acids when it comes to a more olive skin. It's just, it lightens and brightens, and the skin, it completely can change a texture and really give a skin a lot of life. So the one thing that happens with a more olive to a darker skin, as we know, the skin can get really grey and flat, and it often is discoloured in areas like around the mouth. She'll get dark around the mouth, and areas where the sun hits. So the area on the top of the forehead often is darker up here as well. So we want to try and keep the skin tone even, but we also want to really help to lighten up some of this scarring that she has on her face. So we're just going to blot her skin here with a tissue, and we're going to diagnose her skin now. Now, why do people have oily skin? Oily skin is when someone has an overabundance of testosterone, which I know can sound scary, but it's not. It is, you know, we all have either an oily skin, an oily combination skin, or a drier skin. And having an oily skin as we get older, we know really keeps the skin soft and supple, and it doesn't allow for wrinkles to come as quickly, those premature lines. So oil is an overabundance of testosterone, and often what comes with oil is a little bit of facial hair. So what I say, whenever you are cleansing your skin and you do have facial hair, which we all do, but some have more facial hair than others, you want to make sure that you're really doing circular motions with your cleanser so that you're getting underneath the fine facial hair. And that's really important. It also, in everything that you do, whether you're massaging in an exfoliant into the skin, you want to always be doing circular motions, especially on the cheeks, because this is where fine facial hair mostly accumulates. So your treatment products, everything goes in circular motions, and that way we know it's getting underneath that hair, and it's really doing a good job with the skin underneath it. So as I'm looking at Crystals, and I'm not even looking through the Maggie lamp, I don't need to right here. So what we have, she has an oily skin. She has pretty much a true oily skin. And how I can see that is I can see she's got blackheads and she's got a little bit of congestion under her skin, on her forehead, around her nose. Her pore size is quite small, which is great because keeping pores small is challenging for people. But what she has is she's got a little bit of surface dryness on her forehead, and her cheeks here, as you can see, she's got scarring. And this is the one thing that is challenging to get rid of if you're not using the right products. So Crystal really needs her retinols. And I'm not talking prescription strength. I don't recommend people to use prescription strength because I always say that prescription strength is prescription for a reason. We're living longer now. There is, with prescription strength, I mean, obviously, it's absorbed into our bloodstream, and I'm just not a believer of using a prescription strength retinol, once, twice, or 3 times a week when you can use a non-prescription strength, and there are so many amazing creams that are non-prescription that you can use every day. I mean, it's, it just doesn't make sense to me. So personally, I do not prescribe prescription strength retinols, and obviously I'm not a doctor to prescribe them, but I don't even recommend them. It's just not necessary. The one thing that I'm seeing here on Crystal is that she does have scarring on her décolleté, and I can see if I touch her scarring on her décolleté, it's different than when I touch the scarring on her face. Her scarring on her face is flat. The scarring on her décolleté, she has still got some bacteria, she's still got sebum that's hardened there, and that's why it is raised and there's a bump underneath it. So one of the things that Crystal needs to do is she needs to exfoliate her body. The skin on her body is very dry, and I can feel it when I touch her arms. It also makes the skin on her arms look a little bit uneven, whereas if she exfoliated with, when she gets out of the shower, if she uses a really good towel and just rub her skin a little bit, abrasive, that's going to help exfoliate her skin. I mean, she could also do some dry brushing. There are other ways, other types of exfoliants. There are so many different types of exfoliants on the market. But one thing is you don't want to use anything that's too foamy and too drying, because she wants something that's nourishing, like an exfoliant that's nourishing. And some of the bead exfoliants that you can use for the body, a lot of them are really nourishing. So they exfoliate, but they also nourish the skin. Her body needs that. And it's what has created a little bit of a problem on her décolleté, because she has dryness on top, but she's oily underneath, and it's more dry than her face. She has a little bit of dryness up here on her forehead, but her décolleté, the skin is more blotchy on her décolleté, and I don't know if you can see that through the camera. We have a couple of different camera angles here, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can see her, she's a little blotchy, so she could definitely improve that. And what I'm going to do to show you how we can make her arms different is I'm going to do an exfoliant that is going to be nourishing on one arm, so that you'll be able to see the difference, and I'm going to do that shortly. So back here, so we've covered the neck and the décolleté. The neck is a very sensitive area. Her neck is good, she doesn't, but it is a thinner skin, it's a finer skin. It's not an area that we can peel, and the décolleté the same. These areas are not easy areas to treat with stronger peels. You do have to be very religious about what you do for your daily regimen at home, and Crystal will have to sort of really pay some attention to that. So what I'm going to do, we're back to her skin, her face. We've cleansed her skin off twice. I am going to work in an exfoliant, but because you have to be very careful when you're working with an olive to a darker skin. You don't want to burn the skin. If you burn the skin, you create sensitivity. On Crystal's skin, she can get darker in some areas. So when I said before that I like to work with retinols a lot, non-prescription retinols on Crystal's skin over an alpha hydroxy acid, a strong alpha hydroxy acid, because I don't want to burn her skin. If I burn her skin, she's going to get darker areas. Now, my skin being so light, would not have the same problem. But I just want to point out the importance of when you work with a darker skin, it's a very sensitive skin. It's sensitive because of the melanocytes, the pigment cells. You have to be very careful not to burn the skin. So we're going to do a very light exfoliant, and I'm going to mix it with an aloe-based healing gel so that I don't burn her skin, because the exfoliant I'm going to use has a buffing effect. It does not have granules in it. It is one that absorbs dead cells. So it does have a little bit of glycolic, but I'm going to lessen its strength because I don't want to burn her skin. Something that I get asked a lot is, what products am I using? And the reason I have all my bottles turned around is that I want people to know that it's going to feel a little bit tingly, Crystal.
Okay.
I want people to know that there are a lot of good products out there. And I'm not here to talk about a product brand, to sell a product brand. I'm here to educate people, because this has been my life. I love what I do, and I really want people to know and understand how to take care of their skin. So it's really important to me that I'm not here to talk about a brand. That's not what the Ask Nerida Joy videos are about. We do get asked many questions, and I'm going to try and answer as many of them as I can in the different segments that we're doing today. Crystal, do you have any questions from what I've told you up to date?
It's just interesting you say about burning my skin, because I was using this vitamin C cream last month, and my skin was so burnt and red. I definitely noticed some dark spots around my mouth after using the product. It was a prescribed vitamin C, and I heard a lot of things about the vitamin C cream and what it can do, but it didn't seem to quite work for me as far as scarring goes. It seemed like it gave me more scarring.
More scarring.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because normally a vitamin C, let me explain a little bit about vitamin C to you. Vitamin C, there are two different kinds of, there's a couple of different kinds of vitamin C. One is derived from what we call ascorbic acid, and the other one is magnesium derived. Now, ascorbic acid, as we know is a form of vitamin C that is more citric, more acidic, and can be a problem for people. Vitamin C, there is a small percentage of people that are allergic to vitamin C. What would happen is it should not burn your skin though. So maybe it had glycolic, or it had hydroquinone. Do you know what other things it had in it? Because normally if you have a reaction from vitamin C, it's going to be a little stingy on her skin, and she'll get tiny little bumps. That's someone who's allergic to vitamin C. But most people, as we know with ingredients, it's usually combined with something. So I wonder what brand it was that you were using, in that what it had in it mixed with the vitamin C for you to see that it actually burnt your skin.
Yeah, it was burning and peeling a lot.
So
it was peeling a lot.
So it must be the ascorbic derived vitamin C, which would mean that, and it must be quite strong for it to be that active on you.
20%, I believe it said.
Okay, so yeah, that's quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is good to know, because again, that what do we know about vitamin C? We know that vitamin C is a great antioxidant. It absolutely can protect the skin from the environment and the sun, but there are people allergic to it, and for someone like Crystal, it's not good. So if she used something, the vitamin C that maybe was magnesium derived vitamin C, meaning a different formula of a vitamin C that was a lower percentage. And when you said prescribed, did you get that from a doctor?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe if she was using a more over-the-counter commercial line, she would not have that same problem. But the fact that she had a little bit of a problem, I would keep her away from vitamin C, just anyway. And as I said, I would prefer to use retinols. I'm just removing her exfoliant that I put on. Now, the exfoliant that I used on Crystal and an exfoliant that I prefer to use on most people is one that has more of a buffing effect on the epidermis.
You mentioned retinol.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who, well, like you said, not prescription, where would you be able to get retinol, like a CVS or? is it just a product that it's not over the counter?
You know, in most lines out there on the market, whether they're lines that are sold in department stores or lines at CVS or Rite Aid, any of these, there will be probably, I would say 75 to maybe even 80% of skincare lines out there are going to have a treatment product that has a little retinol in it. It is that popular. It's not always easy finding one that's exactly perfect, which is why there are some that work, you know, some products that work really well for you and some that don't.